Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our YouTube social hours. We're here today again with Mila from Moonlight Soul Astrology and Adrienne Gibson. We're here to talk about the Taurus new moon for May 2023. A lot of shifts that's happened over the last couple of weeks. We're finally moving forward with Mercury moved forward from its long chaotic retrograde period. I'm sure that was interesting for everybody. We've also just recently had Jupiter move into Taurus, which is going to remain in there for the rest of the year. That's also another important topic that we have. Pluto's retrograde, and we've just got a major amount of shifts coming up. And this is a really nice, juicy new moon that we're excited to talk about because this is an opportunity where you can really plant some seeds for growing things in your life that are going to stick and be for the long-term stability. We like Taurus energy because it's got some perseverance there. It's something that's fertile. You can nurture it and you can grow. And so this is an important aspect of your life. You know, this is an important new moon to manifest on and think about the new directions that you want to take and where you're going forward and take it seriously. So anyway, hello, ladies. How are you?
Hello.
Hello,
Hi.
glad to be here.
Good. Yes, I'm happy that you guys are back with me. I enjoy our conversations. Does anybody want to start off with what you're feeling and how this energy is showing up?
Adrienne?
Well, I can start. One of the things that I see is that we're starting a brand new direction from within, and that it's aligned with these changing values that we're having. We're starting to think about what it is that we need and how we can go about manifesting those things. And I see that as really one of the most important things that are occurring. And yeah, it's a chance to like pave the way for what it is that we want our futures to look like.
Mm.
And it can be a little bit uncomfortable because both the old way, how we've been doing it, is where it's been comfortable, and this excitement towards this very new way are both existing at the same time, and that can cause a little bit of uncomfortability. So, but I see this as this need to evolve forward for our changing times. The old way is slipping away, and we're feeling, like, oh, something has to change. What are we going to do? And our values have to change. Jupiter moving into Taurus allows these beliefs that we will gain through these new changing values to begin to take hold. And, I like to say, once you believe it, you can see it. And so it's like the beginning of us being able to manifest what it is that we see for ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is just, this is evolution. We're making it, manifesting it, living it. And that's what I see for our future, just on a basic sense.
I feel that resonating a lot, the struggle between what's been comfortable, like it can be easy to resort back to what feels comfortable, but that's not, like you said, it's slipping away. That's not sustainable anymore. And I feel like intuitively individuals are picking up on those small areas of their life where they know that something's not sustainable. They know that they can't continue with this one thing or this one relationship or this one job or this one place, for instance, like just conversations that I've had with people in their personal lives. But the energy is presenting new pathways for us to go move forward. And Jupiter and Aries to me gave us a lot of like probably multiple opportunities and like short little bursts and spurts. But now it's like, okay, pick one, right? Pick a direction. Which one do you want to go forward with?
And I also feel that since Jupiter moved into Taurus, there is more this desire for manifestation, because whereas, you know, like Jupiter in Aries is, like you said, all the ideas, it's all the creativity, all the fire, but we need to ground it, you know, like we need to put it in the ground, let it to take roots, and then it can grow and become stable. And also the first thing that Jupiter did was a square to Pluto, right? And this actually started us, which is something we're going to discuss when you start sharing the chart, the ground fixed square that is actually already in position, even though Mars hasn't moved into the sign of Leo yet, so it's out of sign, but it's already in place. And this is exactly the energy Adrienne was describing, this desire for, like, there is a desire for change, but at the same time we feel stuck in our comfort zone, and it's because of this fixed sign energy, you know, where we want to hold on to the old, the comfortable, but this evolution, this need for evolution, also Pluto square in the nose the entire year, which we already discussed, it's pushing us. There is no way back. There is no hiding anymore. And all my clients and friends and people in my environment I've been speaking to, everybody is feeling that. Everybody is very aware that there is this energy wanting to come through, and it requires adjustments. Like, you know, with the squares, there is a crisis, and it requires us to take an action or free ourselves and make adjustments.
Yep.
Yep. And, you know, the Pluto retrograde is also, I feel, going to give that internal process, right? The undertone that this is an internal process that an individual would be experiencing or going through, but it's also being accelerated. And there's like that double acceleration there because A, Pluto's retrograde, and B, it's in Aquarius, which tends to accelerate whatever planet is in Aquarius in itself.
Exactly.
Yes. I can totally see that. And while the sun and the moon are together in Taurus, where we are inwardly digesting and thinking about how we can become self-reliant and get our needs met and be able to depend on ourselves. This, you know, Pluto is in the place where we're freeing ourselves from what was, essentially. And so for me, it aligns exactly perfect as we begin to free ourselves and as we start to leave these energies of Capricorn, and Pluto will be moving back into Capricorn shortly. And we'll get to recover some more of those ideas of what we're going to be leaving behind, and which will fuel us for the future when Pluto moves back into Aquarius, when we have digested and internalized these energies of what we need and what we value and how we want to live our lives. Jupiter coming in to align with our truth, you know, what our truth will be. And then as time progresses, we'll be taking action and really embodying these ideas, which to me seems like we'll just be moving forward with the dream.
And I also feel that, interestingly enough, to me, the most important aspect Jupiter will make during its transit for Taurus will be conjunction to Uranus, which will take place next year in April. But actually, once Jupiter moves out of Taurus, the first aspect it will make, it will be trine to Pluto. So I feel that we have this 1 year of this Jupiter transiting through the sign of Taurus to start embodying these new ideas, letting go of that which is still restricting us and making us disempowered, as it's been felt through this Jupiter square to Pluto, and currently this grand fixed square we got going on at the moment, presently. And then once Jupiter goes through the Taurus and then hits Uranus, it will be the moment for freedom. Like, okay, are you ready to let it go? Are you ready to free yourself? And then subsequently, just as it will move into Gemini, Pluto will be already in a sign of Aquarius by then, back in Aquarius, spring next year. It will make a trine to Pluto. So to me, it feels that this is a year of action, an action where we had this first 4, 5, 6 months of the year where there was a lot of internal processing, a lot of internal energy, a lot of Pisces energy. Then we had a lot of earth and water. To my, you know, like, yes, we had this new moon in Aries ×2, but on a 0 and 29 degrees, which is about the beginnings and endings. But now, as the energy is slowly going to move into fire and earth signs, the energy is shifting from the yin, which is the receptive, the internal, going through this internal processing, to that what we're going to do about it. Let's take an action. And also with the summer season, usually people become more proactive, like let's do something.
Yeah. I totally see that. I totally would agree with the action planning moving forward now. In that North Node, in a matter of a month and a half, right, we'll be moving into Aries. And so we will have to go into that new direction, and we will have to take action, conscious action towards our life. And one thing I just like to remind people is that as long as you're making a small step towards your goal and towards your process, like, you're heading in the right direction. And so it's like, don't feel overly stressed if you're not exactly where you want to be yet, or you don't have all the resources, or you're not meeting all of your needs yet. Like Taurus, this new moon, Taurus energy does move slow in a sense, because it needs to sustain something for the long term. It's not quick.
Exactly.
So it's like, keep that in mind if you're manifesting under this energy, and you're really getting into terms of what your needs are. Okay, like, what's the plan? How can I sustain this long term? A little goes a long way. And Jupiter's really, we're getting a lot of support. Like, I don't really feel any negative feelings around the shifts that our planet is going to go through and humanity is going to go through, because we're getting a lot of support.
Yeah.
As long as you're understanding what your personal needs are, and you can meet those or try to meet them.
Because Jupiter is offers blessings and protection. From the traditional astrology point of view, Jupiter is the greatest benefic. So if, of course, it will multiply and expand everything it touches, so that can show up differently for different people depending where they're at on their journey. But also, I wanted to just remind people what we were discussing during the Aries new moon and the solar eclipse and all that it's about baby steps, because the Aries energy is literally like when you see a baby lamb being born and it doesn't even know how to walk. It's like all shaky and stuff. And that's where we are at, because this whole process we're going through got properly activated through these past eclipses, the eclipse season we just came out of. And we are in the Aries energy where we're just learning how we're going to go forward. We know that there is this need for change. There is this desire to follow purpose and find a deeper meaning in our life, which is more in alignment with who we are, our needs and values. This is what Mercury retrograde helped us to, figure out even on a deeper level, go within, sit with yourself, feel into it. And now we are starting to move forward. But like you said, with Taurus, it's a very slow energy. And with the Aries, even though Aries is very optimistic and it's very let's get going, but it doesn't know where it's going. So it's all this give yourself a time, be patient with yourself, just as you would be with a baby. You're not going to gestate a small child when he's learning to walk and it falls. It's going to fall until it masters it. And this is where I feel we as a human collective, we are learning. So let's just be patient and compassionate with ourselves, because we embarking on a brand new journey of Pluto in Aquarius 20-year transit, which is going to completely transform human collective as we know it. We're heading somewhere into complete unknown. So let's just be patient and have a compassion with each other and ourselves, because it's an Aries energy. We don't know where we're heading, and that's why we need to take these baby steps. And Jupiter being in Taurus for a year, just over a year, it's giving us the blessing and protection, like Jupiter, like the angel guardian, don't worry, I got you. As long as you know who you are and you stand up for yourself, for your needs, what you want, what you need, and what are your desires, and you see yourself as worthy. I'll be here for you. I'll support you 100%.
And even if you don't know what it is that you want, this is the time where we are sort of embodying that, bringing it in, trying to figure it out. And then as the sun and moon move into Gemini, we'll be gathering that information about what we need and what we want, aligning with that North Node.
Is a sextile. We actually have, as we're recording this, the day before the new moon, we have a sextile between the Neptunian sun and the sextile will be still valid tomorrow during the new moon in Taurus. So
Yes.
Neptune is giving us this, you know, this deeper meanings, the sextile, like you will figure it out, you will find what matters to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point with that Neptune sunset. That, yeah, because the vision can come clear, right? The vision can come through you. It can be illuminated. And even if it's like a small intuition or a dream that comes through, it's like this is definitely an intuitive process, I feel, for people to be able to tap into. Like, what is that dream? What is that vision? We're still blessed with the Neptune in its rulership in Pisces. You know, Saturn there is like devoting your to your dream life, you know, devoting your work to making that dream possible. You know, there might be some letting go and dissolving of stuff that once had meaning for the last 30 years, right? But those things don't have meaning for you anymore. And that's okay to shift. It's okay to change.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay to change your mind about something and be like, you know what, actually, that's not the life I want anymore. That's not the place I want to go to. You know, this isn't my dream. It could be shifting for people, as everything has been shifting in the sky. You know, Pluto moving into Aquarius, just let alone, was like a huge shift for people to just get a little bit of an experience right now. Is like, okay, that dream and that vision that you have for the next 20 years is being exploded. It's new. And you're not going to know like the whole vision and the whole goal until you get deep into that transit anyway.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to also mention once again, which we already spoken about during the last videos, just as you were saying, people don't need to be like rigidly attached to, okay, this always was my dream, so it has to remain my dream, because this is also still the sextile valid between Saturn and North Node, that actually there is a sextile between Saturn and Mercury, and Mercury helped us to identify what matters to us. And this sextile, because Saturn is currently in Pisces, is encouraging us to be flexible. Like, you know, the dreams change, the inspiration change, the meaning of your life, it change. As we grow and evolve and Saturn emotionally mature, it changes, we change, and it's okay, you know, because that's a cycle of life. And with Taurus, it's very easy to get too fixated onto things. But I feel with Uranus being there since 2018, I believe,
Yeah.
Uranus is making us, is challenging us. Like, don't be so rigidly attached, because nothing is permanent, right? Like, things are in a cycle of life. And now Saturn being in Pisces for the next couple of years, right? 3 years until 2026, Saturn is actually dissolving that and is allowing us to become comfortable with the fact that nothing is set in a stone, right? Because Saturn always has been our safety and security, the structure. And currently, as we can see, the structure is not very solid anymore. And Saturn is helping us to redefine that actually it's okay to hold on to your intuition and to your visions, which are, you know, mutable. They change just like Pisces does.
One thing too is, as I'm listening to you talk on, and I'm thinking about the grand fixed cross that you brought up earlier, which is, you know, it's funny because the fixed signs don't like change.
No.
And for, you know, the three of us where we have, you know, some fixity in our chart, it doesn't like to move things around. It gets really comfortable where it's at. You know, Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius very much can sustain that energy for a long time, and at all costs just resist that budge. But with this like grand fixed cross, Mars will move very quickly into Leo and be like, okay, everything that was in that T-square basically between the nodes with Mercury there, because you probably know that something needs to change. Like, Mercury is pretty intelligent and smart as a planet, right? And it's like, we've got the information of what needs to change. I'm about to go hit Uranus. I'm about to go hit this new moon spot, right? And then you've got Pluto squaring the nodes right here, retrograde, knowing that, you know, some stuff's got to let go now. It's got to budge. And it's almost like when Mars moves in like a couple of days into Leo, then people are really going to get that push to break that T-square in your chart. So where is that falling in? Because I think that could give people direct insight into like what what major changes need to be shifted right now in your life. If you can locate the sections and the areas of the chart and what houses are being illuminated, or, you know, what other planets are being hit by this grand fixed cross in your chart.
Or what Mars rules in your chart, or
Yeah.
you know, where is your sun, like, you know, like the placements, like, because the sun rules Leo, of course, and Mars, where is Aries in your chart, like that gives people better ideas, because Mars in a sense severes, you know, it like cuts, you know, it cuts. So it's like moving into Leo, where it's gonna be full of stamina again, because in Cancer, it doesn't like being in Cancer, because it's like overwhelmed with all these emotions, like, what do you want me to do with that? He's like a soldier, right? But now going into Leo, it's going to be like a brave heart, you know, like, let me show up for myself, and I'm just gonna go after my purpose. And I feel that sometimes requires letting go of something, right? And as we have the Pluto square in the nodes, and the resolution is a south node in Scorpio, we know that it's necessary for us to let go of something.
Yeah.
And Mars is also sextile to this new moon. It's a closing sextile with the moon, and a new phase with the sun.
Mm.
And it being at 29 degrees, it's culminating this energies of how we've seen ourselves, and really getting ready to move into Leo. It's you know, we're getting ready to action this energy to just move and take on those things that we've been gathering while it's been through Cancer. So I've been working on the nodes of Mars. And what the planetary nodes do is show you a full scope of the idea of where each planet comes from, where it is, and then where it's going in the future. And so with the south node of Mars, it sits in Scorpio, really conjunct the south node. And so this is looking at our past desires and our past places where we've been disempowered to really be able to act in a way that we want to act. You know, we follow, you know, the flavor of our culture, and sometimes this can be disempowering for our souls. But we've been, you know, collectively following this lead for a really long time. And as Pluto moves into Aquarius, we're all breaking free from that. And that requires us to look at the places where we've been disempowered, and where we feel abandonment, really, of ourselves. And this is kind of the basis for the action of Mars at this time. And so current Mars that has been running through Cancer and is just about to leave Cancer is essentially saying that this is where we begin to act our actions and align with our self-image. We've been gathering that information, and it's based on the fact that in the past we've been disempowered to act in our own true selves. And currently we are learning what that is for us and acting on pure instinct, really. And towards the future of Mars, we're going to the north node of Mars is it's up near the sun now in Taurus, where we're beginning to act and shine in a brand new direction. It's on the other side of the sun. Yeah. And so this is instinctual, and we'll be able to act in accordance with our own needs, with those needs that, you know, we are the moon gathering our sense of what it is that we need, and we'll be able to act on those. As Mars moves into Aries, we'll be able to express those actions. And so it's an interesting placement and way that Mars is acting through us, where we have in our subconscious self been disempowered, and we're learning to really ground into ourselves and begin to discover what that is that we want for ourselves, and then in the future to really move into acting in that way. And yeah, so it's exciting for me. I'm ready to move.
Sure. And I just wanted to actually point it out that Moon is the ruler of both Mars and Venus.
Yeah.
So Mars the action and Venus the values, you know, the needs, the essential needs. And as our teacher told us many times, Mars is the, you know, the money. He's the action of the Pluto, because Pluto is
Yes.
subconscious, and Mars is the instinctual, you know, the one that takes the desire into action, that helps us to navigate towards fulfilling the desire of the Pluto. So just what you said makes complete sense. And I can, well, I mean, I can't say for everyone, but the people I've spoken to, everyone is feeling it. The people I came across to, and I've been talking to, everyone is feeling in this subconscious desire and this need for action, this instinctual, because Mars is instinctual, because it's Aries, it's instinctual desire to do something. And yeah, the 29 degrees is analytic degrees, it's a karmic degree. So to me, it feels like the time is up, guys, because once Mars moves into Leo is an action time.
Yes, and it'll be in exact opposition to Pluto when it makes that move, where we'll begin to integrate that new energy of breaking free, really, and being and acting in a more authentic way. And I think that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say that makes us feel more empowered, which is the goal.
Breeding courage, right? Like Mars in Leo is definitely a courageous Leo. It's definitely a leadership type of energy that takes over. You know, and I think if your Martian energy is being led and generated from the heart center, like what feels good and what brings you your own sense of generosity to yourself and to others, then leading with that Martian energy and go and kind of braving those new directions for yourself, you'll be guided on the right path. And from the both of you, like how you're describing all of these too, I almost want to say, if what a human is personally going through right now, if the changes that they're going through feels like it's threatening your survival, if it feels like it's threatening to you, it's actually a good thing, because it means you are evolving and you are changing and you're getting outside of your comfort zones. And anything with Scorpio or anything with Pluto is going to bring those type of dynamics up at one point, where it challenges how safe you feel, because it's challenging like what it means for you to feel like you can survive on it, whether it's emotional or physical or mental change. That can be quite difficult. And South Node in Scorpio has not been an easy transit. You know, it has not been challenging. It's supposed to be challenging for us. And the whole direction, the whole purpose with all this Taurian gifts that we're getting right now is the fact that we can survive. We will be able to survive and provide for our own needs. And again, that's going back to that Venus in Cancer, also like ruling this new moon, where, you know, you have to learn how to provide for yourself. You can provide your own safety and security, nurture yourself, mother yourself, parent yourself, right? Be able to care for and meet your own personal needs, relate to yourself in a way that brings you just security, just that feeling of like you can take care of yourself.
There are a few things I wanted to say about it, because to me, Mars going through the sign of Cancer is also teaching it about emotional self-reliance. And in opposition to Cancer, we have Capricorn. So that's to help us to become our own authority, to take responsibility for our life. So going through all these difficulties of Mars flooding through all these emotion and stuff is to become like, I can trust myself. And also, you know, with the moon in Taurus, I can trust myself and my ability to take care of myself. with the Mercury going through Taurus, just like you said, it was like all this introspective process to learning about what our values are, and also about the survival, because it's going to hit Uranus, and Uranus has been in Taurus. It's been kind of threatening our survival, shaking things up for us. Like, can we rely on this? Can we rely on that? And also another thing that I wanted to point out, it's not fully actioned yet, but it's Venus is coming into the square with Chiron, and Chiron is ruled by Mars. So this is again adding up to the another layer to the same theme, because Chiron in Aries has been, you know, it's been there for a while now as well. And this like the human collective has to heal these wounds to just go after what you desire, like, you know, to let go of this conditioning of the society and this like, oh, you're selfish if you follow your dreams or your passions or whatever. And Venus in Cancer is, to me, is about PLC, like you taking care of yourself, of your nurturing, because the Mars taught us about the emotional self-reliance. Now it's going to go into Leo, because once we nurture our inner world, we can then be stronger on the outside, right? And Venus going into square with Chiron is like, where are we still not nurturing ourselves? Where do we still feel wounded? What do we still need to heal in order to feel that we can take care of our, you know, our needs? And then Venus ruling Uranus, no matter what happens, you know, like no matter what earthquakes and things will be taken away for us, to have this trust within oneself that no matter what happens and no matter what's taken away from us, we can recreate our, you know, physical reality.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, the complete cycle, the complete picture of Venus, looking at its planetary nodes, the south node of Venus is in Aries, which is talking about how we have in the past wanted to take a new direction. We have there's been an inkling. People, I'm sure, I know that it's happening within myself, where there is desire to move in a different direction. And this is the basis for the current Venus, where we're having to look at what our needs are, you know. In order to move and make a direction, we have to be able to assess where we are and what we have and what we don't have, and be able to make those decisions, feel into them for ourselves, embody them. And then, so this current Venus is allowing us to align with these values that are beginning to emerge. And then the future of Venus is the North Node is in Gemini. And this can cause an inner crisis that requires some self-adjustment. And it is related to our past self-image of being disempowered. And it's because it is square to the South Node. And so, but we can act in accordance with that disempowerment and determine like where it is we need to go and begin to move toward that direction, you know, take the authority for ourselves and break free from what it is that we've been locked into, and really begin to take that step forward. And both the Mars and the Venus, as far as the nodes go, are giving us that energy, which allows us to move forward based on being stuck or taking this new direction. Or the completion of all of these, of both of these planets, show us why we need to move, how we're going to move, and where we're headed. And so this idea of the North Node of Venus moving into Gemini basically says that, you know, we're going to need to collect some information. We're going to need to gather the information and really look at it for ourselves internally, and so that we can act, particularly as Venus then will move into Leo along with Mars, because we're going to have some action here this summer, and we're in the process of incorporating what it is that we learn about ourselves and what we need, and we're gonna, with that information and hold it, instinctually we'll just be moving and getting our needs met and heading in that direction. So this is what I see with Mars and Venus for our future.
Mm-hmm. And also, you know, with the Gemini, North Node of Venus in Gemini, I think it's again about the flexibility, you know, like again, it's inviting us as a human collective, because I feel that we've been so stuck in our like rigid ways, which were, you know, we are deeply conditioning to be certain way. There is one way, there is one truth, there is one, you know, one way you should have relationship, one way you should perceive a career or whatever. Like everything's been so strictly and rigidly defined for us, which is why Saturn is now in Pisces. And I feel with the North Node in Venus, it's also about, well, there is more than one way to get your needs met. You know, like one, because the Gemini always offers more options, multiple options. So it's the search for the information that allows us to find different routes. You know, there is no one route that leads to your goal. There are multiple routes, and I think that's why the flexibility is so needed, because of the mutable energy, because of all these Uranus in a you know, Taurus, and having the fixed Grand Cross currently taking shape in fixed signs. It's telling us that it's time to let go of these fixation that there is only one way to proceed, because, you know, with Saturn in Pisces for 3 years, Neptune in Pisces still for another 3 years, and with the North Node on Venus, and Venus is a personal planet, so we can feel it very deeply, because it's our relationship with what we need, is our, you know, in our everything that helps us to survive and thrive, preferably. And that being in Gemini, you know, that's why I feel like Sun moving into Gemini will be another trigger point, you know, like with the Mars moving into Leo on the 20th, and subsequently Sun moving into Gemini. So they're going to make a sextile straight away, right? This is to support us.
Yeah. Agree.
Yeah, I was definitely feeling into the choices. You have choices, you have different routes to take too. When both of you were talking, and Adrienne, when you were sharing about the North Node and Venus, because I was like, the whole point of this like fixed cross right now is to shake it up, for people to open up, and I see a lot of stress going on. I listen to like podcasts, and I listen to, just people talking about money issues right now, because we've got like banking crises going on and stuff, right? And a lot of people are stressed out about what's going to happen to my funds, what's going to happen to my money, right? Just that's a Taurus thing right now. It's a Taurus theme is our money and our finances. And the thing is, it's like, don't stress, because there's so many different options if you're just open and expand your perspective a little bit and remain open. And that does require you to let go of the stuff that, as an individual, you hold on to something too much. You put maybe too much value or worth onto something that really doesn't hold it anymore.
And I think this is perfectly reflected by the Jupiter closing the cycle with North Node. Jupiter is going to conjunct North Node on June 1st, I believe. So it's currently in a balsamic closing phase. So this is our beliefs with regards to our resources. Like, money is not the only resource.
Right.
Like, money has been around for much shorter than other resources. Like people used to exchange in a different way, or they used to, because people always associate money with, like, money is abundance. If you are abundant, you have to be a millionaire, like you have to have money. But there are other ways of being abundant, and there are other ways of creating resources and ability to survive. And I feel that with Jupiter closing the cycle with the North Node, and North Node, in Taurus, it's all about, how you creating your resources, how you being resourceful, how you see yourself as a, value as a resource. And this belief system with regards to everything to do with that, it's coming to the close, and a new chapter will open. Jupiter will start a new cycle with regards to the North Node in Taurus, because North Node is going to move in Aries. So this is it, for these two. And there is a new chapter starting just before the North Node moves into Aries, which is again a new direction, new beginning. So Jupiter now conjuncting North Node is telling us that it's time to let go of these fixated ideas and ideologies. What is your resource, and how are you going to take care of yourself? because there is multiple options. You know, North Node of Venus in Gemini, there are multiple options. There are multiple ways of having your needs met. We just have to find the information. We need to do a little bit of investigation and be curious and open-minded.
Right.
And think outside of the box,
Exactly.
because we haven't done it this way before. And that's where we have these insecure feelings, because for generations we've been doing it this way and none of us really know how, but we are being pushed from within to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Like, we have fear. It's scary not to do things the way that they've been done. And there's no road ahead of us. We just have to kind of feel it out, push that foot forward and toe it out. And, but we can do it. And we'll have to. It's almost like we have to take this road ahead of us that we can't really see yet, but the road behind us is disappearing really quickly. And so the only thing we can do is push forward. And as we do it, we'll begin to see, different ways of getting our needs met. It'll happen in a flow, sort of, that as we go, we'll be learning and gathering this information.
Yeah. And ultimately, Taurus energy wants pleasure and comfort, right? And it likes to chill. It likes to chill out. And so, this new moon is like, it's working for you so you can actually have a more comfortable life, so that you can actually be more happy and content and slower, and have everything that you really want, that's sensual, that's pleasurable, and all this. And the whole time we've had Uranus and Taurus too, which, I feel for a lot of astrologers have been like, oh my God, it's just breaking up everything. But it's working in the favor, because Uranus understands that in order for you to actually have the comfort that you need, we've got to let go of some of this old paradigm bullshit that has been going on, that creates everybody in this chaotic energy to just try to do and do and do and do and do. And it's not sustainable. People are sick. They get cancer. They get worn out. They overstress, like they overeat. And it's just all these other problems happen because the old Pluto and Capricorn, sorry, Pluto and Capricorn generations, but, the old Pluto and Capricorn stuff is crumbling down. And again, like meeting our survival needs, and going to talk about how there's more ways, there's more things than money in the world, for instance, right? Like Pluto and Aquarius really wants us to focus on survival and power dynamics now when it comes to the individual, and what kind of skills and talents does the individual have to give. And, I'm already starting to do trading and bartering, and I think all of us are.
I've been doing it for a while.
In Mexico, it was commonplace.
In my farm work. We trade with other farmers, for the last 15 years. At the end of the market, when we have vegetables, we just take a big basket of vegetables and go around to all the other farmers and get the things that we didn't grow, but they have an abundance of. They don't want to take it home, and we give them things that we have. And really, it's been going on really nicely. We'll come home with all kinds of different things and resources to be able to use. So I like the barter.
That's the thing, being resourceful, and also what you were saying, Makayla, I just wanted to add, how you say that we want to have pleasure and comfort, but the only way we ever going to find it is if we can provide it for ourselves. And it's not like, we cannot all provide everything for ourselves, but feel empowered that I can provide it for myself. And that's why Pluto is squaring the South Node in Scorpio, because it's showing us where we depend maybe on something that we shouldn't be dependent on so much anymore. Like our ancestors, they used to grow their own food, if the grocery shop shut down, a lot of people would have trouble, right? Myself included. And that's why with this, we want pleasure and comfort, but we need to figure out how we can give it to ourselves, even if all these external resources are potentially not always available. And I think this is what the Uranus in Taurus is doing, that it's shaking things up for us, to showing us where we're vulnerable and what do we need to do in order to get it covered. you know, like Adrienne said, you know, like with the growing food, like, well, we can't all be growing food, but when I was in Mexico, that was like very commonplace. Like you know, this is my skill, this is what I can offer you, and you give me whatever you have to give me. And yes, people might not always be interested in what you have to offer, or you might not want what they have to offer, but there is plenty for everyone. This is again the lack of consciousness, and this is something that we are learning to overcome, to think outside of the box, and you know, to be ready to make some changes, to come out of the comfort zone. So long, you know, like down the line, we create our own comfort zone, which will make us feel more self-empowered, and also this resourcefulness to be able to recycle. You know, like I don't know the saying, I forgot it, but you know, when you take your stuff to the like flea market and stuff, like something you don't want anymore is for someone a treasure, right?
Yeah. One person's trash
Yeah.
is another person's treasure. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it, right?
Yeah. Definitely. So I don't have this. So funny. It's like very simple and in Taurus style. Like to me, it was like a, you know, like not a simple process, but it's like a simple new moon to talk about, kind of, you know? Yeah.
I mean, it's, you know, there's there's a lot going on in Taurus right now, and I think we've covered the range.
Yeah.
So
And there are a lot of supportive aspects. I mean, we still have the trine between Saturn and South Node. So there is like, I feel that despite the fact that there is this ground fixed cross, which is creating a lot of tension and crisis for people, because it's this need for like, is this, you know, getting ourselves out of the comfort zone, because we feel this crisis because it's hard to let go of the known, right? So there is this very present, this you know, tension, and this something is building up that we know that we will have to release to, you know, to free ourselves from this crisis. But at the same time, as we can see on the chart, there is so many supportive aspects. We have all these sextiles, we have the trines going on there. So we are like, everything is happening for us, you know? So even though it might feel very uncomfortable, and including myself, a lot of people are going through like challenging situations when they don't exactly know how they're going to figure it out, and they don't have the whole step-by-step process from A to Z and stuff. But just to have the willingness and be open to like, not to put the resistance. I think the main thing we can do for ourselves, apart from like, yeah, we put in the one foot ahead of the other without even knowing exactly where we're heading, but is to not put out the resistance. If we know that there is something that is dying in our life, you know, with the Scorpio, with the Pluto archetype, that something needs to be gone, that something no longer has a meaning, with the Neptune in Pisces, like rather than to try to resuscitate it at each cost, you know, like, let's just make me try to squeeze the life drop of life out of this thing. Let's just let it go, you know, let's just let it go, and just you know, give gratitude for what it served for us, because everything happens for us. So show a gratitude and appreciation, but let it go with grace, with love, and just create this openness for this new energy which is coming, whether we're ready for it or not. It's coming. We cannot stop it. We cannot stop evolution. And just be open, and we always be supported with this Jupiter going through Taurus for the next year. We have a lot of blessings, like the universe is supporting us. We just need to create a space for the abundance to come in, because if we are holding on for dear life to this dead energy, then we cannot invite the new, because there is still this space being occupied. So we need to let go with grace, so Jupiter can give us this abundance. It can bring it into our life.
Yep, and I think that the with the collective, you know, we're all in different places. There are people that are going to be acting more Taurus and holding on and trying to fixate and keep it the way that it's been. But, you know, evolution is moving forward, and it's really important for those of us that have that desire to move forward and really pave the way for what's coming, that will allow others of us to see, oh, that we can do it, and we'll eventually move into it over time. So, you know, there'll be the trendsetters that really move in that direction. And, you know, we're like influence for other people. That other people can do it too. And so I think that that's really important to remember, that even if you're feeling stuck, oh, like I can't do it, I've got this and this and this going on, that as people begin to individuate in their own ways and other people see them doing that, then that will spur a little bit more energy for those people that are feeling stuck.
Like we saving the seeds for them, like we dropping the seeds and then they will sprout when they're ready. Because
Exactly.
I remember when I actually started waking up only just over 3 years ago, I felt behind. I thought, oh my God, I'm so late. What I was doing for all my life, I am so useless, and just being so hard on myself. And I remember there's actually one of the very first video I came across our teacher, Simon Burster from Raising Vibration, and he said, your soul has its perfect timing. You are never early and you're never late. Everything is happening exactly at the perfect time as it's supposed to, just as it's, our chart gets triggered by the transits, progression, solar returns, everything exactly at the perfect divine time. So that's why it's important, for us to have compassion for ourselves. With the Neptune in Pisces is also extremely compassionate, compassion for ourselves and for the others, because we are
Yes.
all on a different, like my friend, she says we are on a different floor in an elevator, like we are on a different floor, but there is no better or worse, it's just different, right? So like you said, Adrienne, that like maybe some people are trendsetters, maybe some people were trendsetters for years, like David Icke, he's been talking about this for what, 30, 40, 50 years, I don't know. And he probably think like, oh my God, you guys are so behind, but he doesn't, because he's evolved being, right? So he won't go and now criticize and judge other people. And this is, we are all on a different floor, we are all on a different part of our journey. So it's okay, for some people like myself, I'm single, childless, so it's easier for me to drop everything and now go whichever direction wind blows me. But some people have children and they,
Yep.
their hands are tied, they have children, they have responsibility, they have obligations, and they are where they are at because that's what their soul chose for exactly this moment in time. And that's why it's very important for people to have this understanding that there is no right, wrong, late, early, nothing. It's exactly, perfectly, divinely timed, exactly as it's supposed to be.
Yep. And the earlier ones are the trendsetters and the leaders, the people that the collective will look up to and begin to move forward with, follow. And so I think I think no matter where you are, on the elevator, you just, you push through where you are, live your life, meet your needs, and communicate, align with the people that will help you get there. And, and then when we're there, you just turn around and reach the hand back and help lift somebody else up.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what the Aquarian age is about, the individuation, but also the humanitarian essence of helping one another to get to the same level eventually.
Exactly.
And also, if the entire humanity woke up at the same moment, the world would fall apart. I mean, so everything is perfect, just as it is.
Yeah. Valuable lessons in patience.
Yeah, like Taurus, patience.
Taurus.
Absolutely. Patience for others and patience for yourself. Yep.
There we go.
Yep.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you. This is amazing. We stopped the
Well, thank you both.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love
quite enjoyable.
Yeah, these reports are always so good with you too.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
always
fun.
A pleasure.
So, like always, if you have not hit like and subscribe to our YouTube channels yet, please do. Adrienne, if people want to find you or contact you for a reading, where would
Right now I'm on Facebook, and my email is heartplace@peoplepc.com. Just reach out. I'm working on a new platform where I'll be putting my content, and as that manifests itself, I'll add that for the next time.
Awesome. Okay. And Mila?
My YouTube channel, Moonlight Soul, and you can also find me on Instagram and Facebook. There is working on a website slowly, but for now it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and my email address, moonlightsoul369@gmail.com. We put the links in a bio so people can find it.
Okay, awesome. And my name is Makayla Davis, and you can find me at Scenic Root Astrology on Instagram, scenicrootastrology.com. Facebook, not very active on, definitely YouTube. And yeah, and I am selling the very last of my sacral chakra oracle deck that I produced last year. So you can not see that here, but it's available on my website. There's only 2,000 left. It's a one-of-a-kind deck. So, and then there'll be a second one coming out next year, a new deck. So if you haven't gotten that and you're into tarot, I highly suggest you check it out. So thank you, everybody.
Very cool.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
See you soon.